So we start with the block diagram of digital communication system. You can see all that I have highlighted all the components or rather units in the transmitter and the receiver that are present in the block diagram of digital communication system. Now the very first block is in the transmitter is the information. Second is a source encoder, third is a channel encoder, and next is a modulator. In the receiver, again you can see that the sequence will be in the reverse order, right? Like in the channel, in the transmitter, when we see the modulator at the bottom, in the receiver we see that at the top, because the process is entirely reverse as far as the receiver is concerned. So a demodulator, then channel encoder, you can see a channel encoder over here, and then a channel decoder at the receiver side. So when we are seeing that, so we can see it very, we can make it a note very easily that whatever process we are following at the transmitter side, exactly reverse process is happening in the receiver side. So the second block over here is a source encoder, and the third block over here is a source decoder. The first block in the transmitter section is the information source, and at the receiver it is a destination. So after seeing this diagram, what conclusion or what we can say about this that we need to discuss. So the first block in the communication system is the information source. The overall purpose of the system is to transmit the message or the sequence of symbols coming out of the source to a destination point at the higher rate and with maximum accuracy possible. The source and destination points are physically separated. Whenever we are deploying this communication system, the source and destinations are not at the same place. They are separated at the distances. Usually these distances are in terms of kilometers. The source and destinations points are physically separated. That means there is a need of channel, and the channel may be wired channel or the channel may be wireless channel. So in the communication system, the signals output of the channel is usually, when it is transmitted from the transmitter to receiver, it gets distorted. Okay, and due to the distortion, the main cause of distortion is a noise, and the maximum susceptible device in the communication system for noise is a channel. A channel is the area where the noise gets added. So let it be the it can be a wired channel, or it can be wireless channel. Noise has to have there in the information. And when we transmit the information from source to destination and distances are in terms of kilometers, so there is a large possibility that addition of noises in the channel. Okay. Now coming back to the very first block of the communication system, that is information source. Don't worry, in the end I will show you the entire block diagram also, but rather going to the block diagram at the first, we'll see what are the each terms in this block diagram means. Then the entire block diagram will be very easy for you to understand. So information source may be classified to two categories depending upon the nature of their output. The information source can be analog, that means a continuously varying signal with the time, or it can be discrete information sources. In case of analog communication, the information source is analog, as I have told you. Analog information sources such as microphone, एक example इसका बता रही हूँ मैं, I'm just an example. And microphone is again a source of information which is actuated by speech, and it continually emits one or more continuous amplitude signals. In case of digital communication, the information source produces a message signal which is not continuously varying with time. Rather, the message signal is intermittent with respect to time, and this type of information is usually called as the discrete source of information, where the intervals are not regular. So these are the two main sources of the information in the communication. And the discrete information sources such as teletype or a numerical output of a computer, it may be consist of a sequence of discrete symbols or letters. So these are the basically what I'm talking is are the basics of the basic sources of discrete information. Analog source of information is usually needed to be copied into the digital source of information for the further making the information to pass through to the further blocks of digital communication system. So the source may be, a source may be alphabet, a source may be alphabet. Let me go to the next block, next slide. A source is a blank screen visible to you. Okay, a source may be alphabet. A source may be alphabet, usually consisting of letters, and there is a space between the two adjacent letters, and we can derive the information from the characters available from the information source. Now the next important definition is a symbol rate. Symbol rate. Now there is a specific meaning of this symbol in case of digital communication. Symbol rate is basically it is the rate at which the information source generates the source of alphabets. That means in one particular second how many alphabets have been emitted from the source. So technically definition is that, see, these definitions are important from the exam point of view also. So symbol rate, symbol is a group of some alphabets or group of binary bits. It can be anything. Okay. So these are the basic definitions we'll be using in entire all 6 chapters as we are moving with the syllabus. So it is the rate at which, it is the rate at which, very important definition, it is the rate at which the information source generate, the information source generates source alphabets. Is it clear? And इसका जो unit है, that unit is called as a symbols per second. Remember this, we are going to use the terminology in the numericals also. So symbols per unit or per second unit, you can say that rather. So source alphabet, source is usually consisting of alphabet. The source may be consisting of some probabilities, and depending upon the probabilities, if the source is predicting some probabilities of the information, then that probability dependence of the symbol in the sequence. For example, if the source is emitting the alphabets, then what is the probability that next letter will be A? So such sources are called as the source alphabet probabilities. Each source alphabet from the source has independent occurrence rate in the sequence. That means we cannot say we cannot predict the probability of which alphabet will occur at which point of time. So that is what we say, that the rate of occurrence is not predictable. That means, for example, if I write a letter computer, so computer is made up of total eight alphabets. Out of this, O ka probability is not dependent on M and C. Similarly, E ka probability is not dependent on E or letter R or T. Are you getting the meaning of independent probabilities? Each alphabet is completely independent. Okay, so that is this such type of source is called as the source with independent probabilities. Now there are sources where the probability of dependence of sequences. So the information carrying capacity of each source alphabet is different in particular sequences. This parameter defines average information content of the symbol. The information of the source describes the average information content per symbol is a long message. And there is one term called as entropy. Entropy. We have to study what is entropy. There are questions on this. This is an important point in chapter number 1. Entropy is basically defined as average information per message. Average information per message. Now the best example with which the entropy can be explained, that can be, we see basically, if I told you that suppose this is a month of May, right? And usually what we expect, month of May is full of heat, right? Month of May is a summer, no? Okay. So if someone is saying that there will be a lot of heat or the temperature will be 45 degrees in the month of May, everybody will be agrees, as there we are quite known. We have seen many month of Mays, and we know that in month of May there is a summer, and summer May usually temperature goes as maximum as 45 degrees. But what if I say that there will be cloud in month of May. Okay, so here the probability of cloud in month of May is less. Therefore we can say that the information in that message, so what is the message? There will be cloudy or cloudy atmosphere in month of May. So this is the text message, right? This will have where we see that there is a very less probability of having the cloudy atmosphere in month of May. Therefore we can say that the information in this message is high. Okay, if I tell you that there will be summer and temperature will be 45 degrees, then the information in this will be low. Are you getting the meaning of probability in the message? And the third case, let us consider. I will write it on the top. This is the first case. This is the second case. And this is the third case. In the third case, if I tell you that there will be a snowfall, there will be a snowfall in Mumbai in month of May. Now this is again a text message. This is also a message containing the alphabet. This is also a message containing the alphabet. But when I say you that there will be snowfall in Mumbai in month of May, everybody will get not surprised, they will get shocked, right? So when we get the shock, that means the something that is not at all expected, and that we are reading into the message, then the probability of this is very less. Snowfall probability, P stands for probability, and in this we can say that since the probability of this message is very low, that means the amount of information in this message is very high. So this is how entropy basically we define as average information per message. Okay, दिया हुआ मैसेज में कितना इंफॉर्मेशन है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? एंट्रोपी. एंड entropy depends upon the first parameter called as the probability, and second is called as the information. And as we have seen with this proper example, step 1, 2 and 3, there was a single message, there will be summer in month of May. Since there is a this is a very high possibility, usually we see summer, so probability is high, therefore the information in this message is very low. Now second case में if we see there will be cloudy atmosphere in month of May, the probability goes on decreasing, okay, and therefore the information goes on increasing. But the third case, if you see the snowfall in Mumbai in month of May, so this probability is nearly reaching to zero. Okay, mathematically mathematically we cannot say probability is zero, but it is reaching to zero. Therefore, amount of information in this message is going to be very high, or we can say reaching to 1, if we are scaling it on the basis of 0 to 1. So after discussion of these 3 points, I will take a pause and let me know if you are understanding these things or not. Okay. Now let us see what is the meaning of source encoder and decoder. The symbol produced by the information source are given to the source encoder. Whichever symbols we are applying, we need to transmit, that first are getting applied to the source encoder. The symbols cannot be transmitted, whatever symbols we are giving to the source encoder, they cannot be transmitted directly. They need to be first converted to digital form. Okay. So source encoder, what it does, it first convert the information into digital form. Right? So once the signals are converted to digital form, this digital form is nothing but the binary sequence. This digital form is nothing but a binary sequence. Binary sequence, what is that? We already know is a stream of ones and zeros, right? So whatever is the source of information, it is analog in nature, and whatever type of information, the information may be audio, text, video, image, sound, speech, voice, anything that will be ultimately converted into the form of binary by the source encoder. Okay. Now the source encoder does not blindly simply converts information into similar digital patterns, because ultimately while transmission of the information, it is also we need to focus on the optimum utilization of the bandwidth. So when in communication system, mark my words students, bandwidth is the most costliest thing. Okay, we or any vendor or any Airtel company owner or कोई भी जो होता है, they pay actually for the bandwidth. We also pay for the bandwidth. We pay the phone bill for using the channel. So this is the most costliest thing. So there should be a high focus on minimizing or the optimum utilization of the bandwidth when we are transmitting the information, right? So the symbols need to be, the source encoders are not only the plain source encoder, they are the intelligent source encoders. They see which sequence is continuously repeating or which alphabets. Suppose I'm taking a text message. So in case of a text message, the vowels A, E, I, O, U, they are continuously in the, in approximately there is a the probability of letter A, the probability of E, I, O, U is very high in every of the symbols. So the letters which are appearing more frequently in the text information, the binary sequence assigned to that will be the minimum number of bits. For example, A will assign only one bit of information. E will be informed. E also is assigned with the 2-bit information, for example, because these words are frequently repeating. So those words or alphabets which are repeating more in the given message are assigned with the least number of binary bits. Okay. So this is basically done for optimization of the bandwidth or minimizing the bit rate for sending the information over the communication channel. Now that is the prime function, and this assigning the number of bits, variable number of bits to any information, that is the prime function of the source encoder. I hope up to this point the things are clear. Now each binary bit is, here digit is known as the binary bit. The group of bit is usually combined together. Now you can see the group of bit over here. This is called as a code word. This group of bit is called as a code word. Okay, so the code word can be a size of 8 bits, 16 bits, 4 bits. The code word can be of any size. It can be 4-bit code word, it can be 8 bits of code word, it can be 16 bits of code word, so on and so forth. Usually it is in the terms of 2 raised to n. Why 2 raised to n? Because the information is in the form of binary sequence, and the corresponding binary, it is having the base 2 and 2 raised to n. So it will be always double with the increased power of n. So source encoder, basically the prime function of source encoder is to assign the binary bits to the corresponding information coming from the information source. So this is how we can explain the meaning or the definition of source encoder with one example. In the next, now we'll see the block size. See, whatever parameters I am defining over here, they are very important as far as the next discussion or the next consecutive chapters are required. Block size basically describes the maximum number of distinct code word. Okay, what it describes? It describes maximum number of discrete code word. I have told you the definition of code words. Code words is nothing but the group of binary bits assigned to each symbol in the source encoder. Okay. So block size describes the maximum number of distinct code word which can be represented by a source encoder. Which can be represented by source encoder. Okay. So if I say you that it depends upon the number of bits of the code word. For example, a block size is of 8 bits. Block size is of 8 bits. So there will be total 2 raised to 8 number of code words. That means it will be nearly or not nearly exactly 256 code words will be there in the block size. Just remember, recall the relation 2 raised to n. So if each block or each code word is comprising of 8 bits, that means there will be 256 code words inside the block. Now let us see the next definition, that is length of code word. Code word length. Code word length as nothing but is similar to block size is the number of bits number of bits available or used to represent each code word. Definitions are very similar. You will find almost the same. So as an example, if 8 bits are assigned to each code word, then the code word length will be 8 bit. Getting the meaning of this? If 8 bits are assigned per code word, then we say that the length of code word is 8 bits. Simple as that. So this is the next parameter about the code word, and these all things are related with the source encoder. The next parameter is average data rate, which is usually defined in terms of number of bits per second. Okay, so example given over here is bits per second from the source encoder. So I have assumed that there are total 8 bits in a particular code words, and this code word can be consist of one symbol. That symbol may be any alphabet. अगर alphabet है तो it may be any alphabet A, B, C, D like that. और अगर ये symbol आपका image information है तो that will be a pixel. So depending upon the symbol, it can be any symbol. Depending upon the source of information, symbol can be anything. अगर text है तो ऐसा रहेगा, image है तो ऐसा रहेगा, video भी रहेगा तो it will be in the form of pixel only. So if each alphabet is assigned with the 8 bits, and if a transmitter or the source encoder is emitting the 10 number of symbols is equal to 10 in 1 second, then data rate can be defined as symbol rate multiplied by length of each code word. So here, as the symbol rate is basically 10 symbols per second, and each symbol is consisting of 8 bits, so the data rate will be 80 bits per second. So this is how the data rate will be calculated, or in terms of calculated, or it may be defined in terms of in the area of digital communication.